Good morning. You will notice that is a change in what I would usually say, which would be good afternoon. So today is the first time that we are recording from being back in school. We are putting the pod in podcast today, literally, because we have joined from 3 different pods. So we have familiar face who actually wants to put his face on screen today, which is Ewan and can do through technology. We are struggling with some other technology, so I can tell you that Marcus Briggs is in the Year 9 pod and that Jax, Harrison and Bailey are masked up, suitably socially distanced, but going through Jax's phone due to some technology issues in the Year 7 pod. So welcome to episode 6. It's been the best part of 2 weeks since we last got one out. It wasn't possible last week with the return to school, and we've had to change things around. There will be a different time and a different schedule next week because we're not in school next Friday. Then there'll be a break for the Easter holidays, and then we'll pick this up in the business end of the season as we return in mid-April. The things that we're going to discuss today are obviously previous results that have gone, some that I'd like to talk about, some that will bring up terrible memories for me. Since the last time we were on the podcast, we're going to look at the reintroduction of grassroots football over the next couple of weeks and what that will mean to people, either people on the call or what we think the benefits will be that in general. And then ahead to the weekend's action with Blackburn trying to stay away from a relegation fight and post a solid mid-table finish, with Burnley trying to escape from a relegation dogfight in the Premier League, with United pushing hard for second and City winning all 4 trophies. Hopefully, we will look ahead to what the action brings us this weekend. Okay, first things first, I will start with me, and obviously the defeat in the derby, which was hard to take. I will also say that we bounced back particularly well. I won't go into too much detail because the results have been superb since then. So we've had positive league results against Southampton, although not our defensive best on the day. A good win at Fulham, and also Champions League, another clean sheet. It's over. I think it's 8 games in a row now. We've had clean sheets in the Champions League. 2-0 victory against Mönchengladbach the other night. A neutral venue to take us through to the quarterfinals, of which a reminder that the quarterfinal draw of the Champions League and the next stages of the Europa League are today. So keep your eyes out. I'll tell you the information out. I'm going to stay short. I'm conscious that we're in school. I'm going to stay short of saying go on your mobile phone. I'll tell you what the details are today. Ewan, I'll start with you. United can be amazing, can be absolutely rubbish, and everything in between. Talk to me about the last 2 weeks. Has it been good for you? Is it a positive end to the season?
Results-wise, yes, it's been good. Performance-wise, it's been terrible. We didn't really play good against West Ham. But again, it was just 3 points for me. I didn't really care how we played in that game because West Ham were in a good run of form and they were a good team. So it was just all about 3 points for me, and we got that. So I'm happy about that. And then first leg against AC Milan, again, worrying performance, but we got that draw. I'm really glad we didn't end up going 2 or 3 away goals down, because I think the way the game was going, that's how I thought it would end up going. And then again, we scraped the win yesterday.
I suppose the results suggest that. You might correct me on this, Ewan, and I'm sure you watched it, but I read Neil Lennon, who was watching the game for BBC, and he actually said that United played really well last night, and he thought it was a really positive result. I know the 1-0 suggests that it was a tighter game, but he was really talking United up. Was it just an okay performance last night?
Second half, I would agree with that, but first half, they dominated us. We were terrible. They looked a real threat. That the left back, Theo Hernandez, he was really getting forward and pressuring us. Second half, I would agree with that. We did play well. Of course, good to have Pogba back. I'm his biggest critic, and I think he does play well in that position where it's like sort of a left attacking midfielder, so he's not got too many defensive roles. But yeah, we got through, and that's the main thing.
Superb, absolutely. It's that time of the season now where performances go out the window, don't it? It's about points on the board and progression in cup competitions, and ultimately, one day all things fall into place anyway. You put together a good performance with a victory, and everything looks sweet. But yeah, Marcus, is there anything you want to add on there? I know, Marcus, you're a big fan of David De Gea, but Henderson's had a period of time in goal with De Gea being back in Spain. Have you been happy with that?
Yeah, really, really good. There's nothing for me to add on. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think he's a dominating keeper in his box. I think he's better on crosses. He's more commanding from set pieces in that respect. I think shot stopping ability De Gea is probably the best, if one of the best in the world. But obviously, errors have crept into his game. So personally, I've been disappointed to see him in because I think it's been a good thing from a United fan's perspective. I think it's a real positive moving forward. It'd be interesting to see the battle next year in a new season with a full pre-season. I think we'll get first indicators of that in July as to who starts the majority of the games in pre-season. Right, I'll go to Bailey next. Bailey, the games have come thick and fast. You've had some terrible news. Boy Wonder's come back and Boy Wonder's gone away again in Mr. Dack. What's going on at your place? Are you happy? Your manager's still in position. What's going on, bud?
Well, you've got to admit, Mowbray, he's been doing a better job lately, but the Brentford game, that the referee made some very bad decisions in there.
Yeah,
like the Brentford penalty. The Brentford penalty, I don't think it should have been a penalty. It was a bit soft. It was a soft challenge.
Yeah, agreed.
And we should have had at least 2 penalties. Well, at least our penalty in nearer to the end of that match.
Well, again, looking at it, Bailey, I was looking at your results closely and your fixtures. You've had a tough spell of games playing Swansea, Brentford. You played Bristol City the other night. You've recently got Nigel Pearson as the new manager, so we're looking for a bit of a bounce. Quite difficult, actually, really, run of fixtures. We'll look ahead anyway, but hopefully your fixture list eases off a little bit as you go forward. Is that the case? Does your fixtures get easier?
I don't actually know who we're playing tomorrow and over the next few weeks, but I do really hope that they are getting a lot easier.
Yeah, well, I'll get your fixtures up and we'll go through those towards the end of it. Okay, I'll move on to Jax before I move on to Harrison. Jax, Burnley, are you safe or what? Is it beyond Fulham to catch it, or are you still in a dogfight?
I think we're safe at the minute. We got a good result against Everton.
Yeah, super.
Matt Neal played class.
Yeah, great goal.
I think that there's teams that are worse than us. Like there's 3 teams that we're better than.
Yeah.
So I think we should stay up this year.
I think realistically you probably need 4 points. A draw and a win over the next 7 or 8 games. I think that'll be enough. I think it's already enough. I think you're right. There are 3 worst teams in Burnley in the league. Interesting to see how the summer pans out for you. Last one I'll go to is Harrison. Disappointing result at Old Trafford, but before that you had a positive result against Leeds at home. Still knocking around that top end of the table. Are you going to finish strongly? Is it Champions League or is it Europa League this year, Harrison? Oh, we might have lost Harrison. We might have to come back to him. Okay, we'll come back to those. Yeah, we'll move forward then. Harrison, I've not forgotten you. If we need to, we'll come back at the end. I'm just conscious of time. Right, for the guys who were still able to hear me, obviously life's been tough the last year. On Tuesday, we not celebrate, but we recognised that it was a year since we went into the first lockdown, a year in which a lot of things have changed and a lot of things have become harder. One of those things has become obviously the impact that COVID-19 has had on football, not just on watching football. Me as a season ticket holder who's not been to a game now since last year's League Cup final at Wembley at the end of February, which is very, very hard to take. But for people playing, and my playing days are sadly over, ruined by a lack of talent and a bad knee injury when I was 19. But I won't blame the knee injury. It was the lack of talent. But for lads who are still playing the game, and I'm conscious that some guys on the phone on the conversation are, grassroots football is returning very, very soon. Has anyone got anything they want to add on what they think is a major benefit of grassroots football returning? I know from my days in amateur football and watching my dad play amateur football when I was a lot younger, I loved the environment. I loved meeting new lads who I didn't necessarily go to school with. I loved running around for 90 minutes on a pitch on a Saturday or a Sunday, feeling great about myself, and then feeling that the weekend was mine. I've done a bit of exercise and feel good about it. Ewan, I know you're a big cricket fan. And obviously, to return to grassroots and in that respect, amateur cricket for you with a season coming up ahead is probably something to be excited about. Can you see the benefits? Is it something that you're pleased about? Should it have carried on? Is there an argument to say, well, it's an outdoor recreational activity, it could have carried on throughout COVID?
Yeah, I think it could have. Of course, loads of benefits for having it back on. I used to play football myself at amateur level. Wasn't the best, but like you said, I enjoyed it when out with a few lads that I didn't go to school with, like you said, and it's really good. So yeah, and I mean, how do we get these amazing footballers coming through? They start when they're young, and I think it's really important that it's back because, you know, who knows, one of those lads out there that are getting back on the field could be the next Messi, could be the next Ronaldo. So yeah, I think it's really good.
So totally agree. And there's a couple of stories in the last few years. Jamie Vardy being a perfect example. Jamie Vardy gone through the grassroots system, wasn't necessarily attached to a professional football club or an academy. Dropped down into the lower leagues and in non-league football, finds himself with a move, gets himself to Leicester, and then obviously the rest via obviously other clubs. But the rest of it is history in that respect. In that Vardy over the last 5 or 6 years has been one of the top frontsmen in the Premier League. Numerous England caps before he retired. He's won a Premier League trophy. The stories are there for all to be seen. Marcus, are you excited? I know not necessarily you're attached to a football club, but are you excited about the opportunities to get out there and play a bit of football, extracurricular PE, for instance?
Definitely.
Yeah, I know it's something that obviously you've loved since I've come to the school nearly 2 years ago. You've been a keen follower of the extracurricular program that we've got there. I know that you can see the benefits in it. Is it something like, with you at the minute, Marcus, and your goalkeeping and your aspirations to kick on with that? Is it something that you might look into going forward to joining a local team and trying to progress your skills? Well, we may have lost Marcus as well there. Jax, can you hear me?
Yeah, we have to move rooms.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Jax. Just as a bit of a side note there, I will come back to the end, Harrison. We were going to talk West Ham and obviously in the moving process. We're just on the topic of grassroots football now. Myself and Ewan and Marcus have just shared some thoughts on the benefits of it, and we're looking forward to the return of it, even though we're not necessarily in that environment. Jax, Harrison, Bailey, is it something you can see a massive benefit in? The argument was, could it have continued maybe, throughout COVID, seeing as though most of it is outdoors? Is it something that you've experienced and you've enjoyed in the past playing at amateur level?
I haven't enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah,
it's good, yeah, when I play football.
Yeah, so have you got friends outside? I imagine you've got a lot of friends outside of this school, Jax, who you've met through football teams. It's a different group of people. It's nice to make those new connections. And there's nothing better, is there, than getting on a football pitch on a Sunday morning, Saturday afternoon, midweek training sessions, whatever it may be, and running around for an hour and a half, getting a sweat on and feeling good about yourself after.
All of my footy mates are Scousers.
Oh, that's terrible. That's I tell you what, we won't be doing is coming to your football club, obviously, anytime soon, and trying to get some of your mates on the podcast, because that was like verbal diarrhea, that coming through the computer for a second. I don't want those fellas on here. Joking aside.
Well, some of them.
Oh, they're all right, those lads. They're nice fellas. We'll get those lads on. So give those lads an invite. Tell them I don't mind if they're red or blue, or even Stockport County fans or Salford FC fans. It's fine. They can come on the podcast. It's not a problem. But like I say, I think this is a discussion that going forward, I know that the government's pledged a lot of money to grassroots sport, and in particular football probably being the most popular of those sports. For me, over the next 2 months, there's two things I'm really looking forward to. The first thing is to see young people, old people, middle-aged people like myself, getting back onto a football pitch or doing any sport in general. Obviously, it's my role as a PE teacher. But secondly, as well, sticking away from football, I share a passion for cricket as well with Ewan. I've got two young lads. I can't wait to take them down to St Anne's Cricket Club where I live. There's a lovely pavilion there, sit with the sunshine out with a couple of drinks in hand, and my lads knocking a ball around, picking up a bat, not for the first time. We've been doing a bit of cricket in the garden over lockdown, and getting involved and getting used to a different environment that's not their nursery, for instance. My eldest son goes to start school in September, so it's again getting him used to being in a different environment, and the benefits are huge. So thanks for contributing, and it's something that I'll bring up on a regular basis, especially as the PE department goes away from its online offer, and this is one of them, and moves into our face-to-face offer extracurricular moving into the summer term. Okay, right, if you just bear with me 15 seconds, I can first of all talk to you about this weekend's fixtures. If you've got the options in front of you or you know them, I know that United are playing Leicester, so I'll probably start with you in a second. I know that City have got an FA Cup game Saturday tea time at 5:30, a difficult game away at Goodison Park, although I'll caveat that with something in a minute. Ewan, do you want to talk us through Leicester? What are you thinking? Is it a semi-final for Ollie and his men, or is it a really hard game at the Walkers or the King Power? What should I say?
Yeah, it is a hard game, really hard game. But for me, we have to win it because we're not going to win the Premier League, Europa League. You know, I don't aspire to win the Europa League. So, but if we win it, great. But you don't really.
It
You
needs a
shouldn't.
trophy, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, for me, second place, Europa League, and the FA Cup would be a good season. So I think it's really important we get through. But it will be tough. But I'll go 2-1 United.
2-1 United. Marcus, anything you want to add on that difficult game Saturday?
Probably really hard.
Hard game. You want to go for a score prediction, bud?
I think.
Oh, Marcus might be having some technological trouble. I'll tell you what, I'll start with Harrison. Harrison, first of all, a quick review of your couple of games since we last saw you that we missed out at the start, and then a quick preview ahead, please, to your weekend's action, if you don't mind.
The Leeds match, probably no offense to any Leeds fans, but easy win. I didn't expect us to win. The game against Man United, we played way too defensive in the first half, but then I reckon there was a foul near to the end in the box where Maguire put two hands on, I think it was Keeper's shoulder, and dragged him down. When he had the ball, he didn't get the ball, and there was a free kick that I think Bruno got, where I'm pretty sure it might have been Ronzini got the ball, but ref still called it as a free kick. The game against Arsenal on Sunday.
Yeah.
I reckon it could be a decently hard game as they have been climbing the tables pretty quick. Arsenal are a good team.
Inconsistent team, I would say.
Yeah. So I reckon maybe 1-1, 2-2 draw.
I think you're being cautious there, if we're being honest, Harrison. I think Arsenal got done at home last night off Olympiacos. I think it's at your place. And the position you're in and the form you're in, I fancy a West Ham win. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham on that game. Jax, what about Burnley?
I've not seen who they're playing this weekend, but
Just get it up for you 1 second.
with our form, though, I think we've played some great football from the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Who do we play?
You're on a no fixture this week. Yeah, there's not many Premier League fixtures. You're either in the Cup or there's only a handful of Premier League fixtures. So you're not now on until the 4th of April, which is next week. And you're a 12 o'clock kickoff in what is a very big game, actually, against Southampton at Southampton. So they've been on free fall since New Year. I think they've lost 10 of the last 11 in the league. Absolute free fall. So that's a big game ahead for you a week tomorrow. So
I think we'll beat Southampton 3-1.
You're going Southampton 3-1. I'm going for a 1-1 draw, which is one of the draws that I thought you needed to get. And then on whoever your next home game is against the lower half team, I think, I'm looking the week after. You've got Newcastle at home the week after. I think that's easy safe. 1-1 at Southampton. Newcastle at home on the 11th with a win. CG safe. Takes you to what, 36, 37 points, something like that. I think you're absolutely fine then. So that's Burnley. Not to forget our resident Blackburn fan. I'm looking for you now, Bailey. So 1 second. Oh, yeah, have you got?
Norwich tomorrow. It's going to be a 3-4-0 defeat.
It's at Norwich as well. That is a tough run of fixtures, Bailey, that, to be honest. You've just played the entire top four.
And then next Friday, we've got an easy match against Wickham. I reckon that could be another 5-0 win, like we did last half of the season against bottom of the table.
I love your optimism there. You know, you're on a slightly dodgy run, and you've just played, some top teams, and probably going to get a bit of a toasting. And then, we're playing bottom of the league, so we're going to win 5-0. Love it. That's what football's all about, isn't it? So I'll quickly jump onto my game. City have got Everton at Goodison Park. Everton's home record is woeful. City beat them there 3 or 4 weeks ago in the league relatively comfortably. They got beat last time out against Burnley at home. I think Ancelotti is another one who is a proven winner, similar to Mourinho say at Tottenham who's desperate to get over the line, and they went out of Europe last night, and in a similar position to Ollie at United, where he'll want to win something sooner rather than later. I think it's a difficult game. I think talk of the quadruple is premature. It can happen. Well, I'm not saying it will happen, but we've got an excellent chance. I'm still going to go for a difficult game, but a 2-1 victory for City, progressing to the semi-final, and then it's about wrapping the league up as quick as we can, hopefully. And seeing how quickly we can get over the line with that one. So it is 9:29, which is a miracle that we have managed to finish pretty much on time, considering we didn't really get online until about nearly 10 past. Thank you for sticking with what has been a difficult situation in terms of the technology. You've tried your best and it still managed to work. I will be in touch, obviously, next week about the topics. And if it's all right with you guys, what I'm thinking is if we can arrange one, it's just doing a quick one just over Easter at some point at a time that suits everybody, whether it's from phone or from your computers at home or whatever it may be, okay? We're all used to this online learning environment, so let's go with it. The games are coming thick and fast. You know, Burnley want to escape that relegation as quick as possible. Me and Ewan are at the top. And like I say, Blackburn floated it out for a mid-table finish, and let's see if West Ham can get in the top 4. So we'll carry this on throughout Easter. As always, I appreciate it. I'll make sure that I get in touch before at the start of next week to tell you about the new time for next week, because we're not in on Friday. And as always, if you just stay online, please, just whilst I finish off the recording here, and I'll give you instructions as to what to do. Well done, everybody. Appreciate it. This has been the 12th man.